While we are gearing up for the Boxing Day test between India and South Africa in a marquee series, there's a lot going on in women's cricket as well. And to talk about that, we have a legendary cricketer, Karen Smithies, with us. And ma'am, first of all, thank you so much for taking time out for this interview.
Women's pleasure. Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. Women's cricket, back in the days and now in 2023-24, how big a difference it is?
Oh, it's massive though, isn't it? I wish I was born probably 30 years ago, to be fair, missing out on all the good things that's happening to the game.
Right.
Even in South Africa now, they've just become professional for the first time with a level of professional contracts. Right. England, Australia, India, I guess, are your top three that have been professional for quite some time. But not just the bilateral series, but there's lots of opportunities now in all the leagues that are popping up.
Right. Ma'am, we recently saw India defeat England and Australia back in their home, and they were playing test cricket in home after 9 long years. Do you think Indian team, other test team, other cricket teams should play more test match, especially in the women's circuit?
I do. I played 15 myself, from 86 up until around 2000. And I guess I learned my game. And I also played county cricket for Nottinghamshire, and to get into Nottinghamshire with the legendary Enid Bakewell at that time was to play 2-day declaration cricket.
Right.
And to me, I learnt my game quicker.
Right.
Your T20 and your 50 over, yes, it's there, but I do keep saying to the Titans ladies actually that I've become team manager of recently is that we need to play more declaration cricket, all youngsters,
right.
To get to know the game as a batter, to learn the game, know their areas, know their skills, and also bowlers, bowlers to work out with their captains, where to bowl, set the fields. I think it's a really good thing, and watching the Australian-India test match earlier, I've been up at 6 o'clock for the last 4 days watching it, but a great win there by 8 wickets by India, and playing at the Wankhede Stadium, so it's really great for cricket.
Talk us about your time on the cricket field back in the days. It was very different. How was the crowd there? How was the support from the cricket associations, cricket boards back in the days? Like the money, financial part of it, the enjoyment part of it, the camaraderie between the players, and the tactical side of the game as well. How different was it?
Lots of questions there and lots to talk about. But we were governed by the Women's Cricket Association in the UK from around 1926, I think it was, which then we eventually amalgamated with the English and Wales Cricket Board in 1998.
Right.
So things changed during my time. I actually had the pleasure of touring India in '95 for a test series, which we won 1-0 just. But also to play a World Cup in 1997 in India, which unfortunately we lost in the semi-finals against New Zealand and didn't make it to the final in Calcutta. But even then, we played in all around the country. We had fantastic crowds. I think I remember in Nagpur was a really good crowd, in Pune, Lucknow, and obviously your main centres as well. But even then, there were good crowds. And one thing I clearly remember about India was obviously the passion of the game and what it brought to the game, and something I will always, massive memories there for me. But also, to play Australia in the MCG in '88 in a World Cup final as well, massive stadium, 5,000 people there, which felt like probably 2 because of the stadium. But it's always been there, I guess. But with more TV coverage and as I say, the professionalism coming into the game has really helped it be a product, I think, on its own.
That's some interesting insights there. But yes, if we talk about the Women's Premier League, it is a massive tournament. We saw the second auction also commencing, some of the players becoming millionaires there. How do you see it? There's always a BBL, WBBL, which has set the benchmark or set the grassroots level of it, but the WPL can take it to a different level, or is already taken?
No, I think that's shown worldwide. The WBBL coming in changed the landscape, I think, of Australian cricket, and look at their team now. They are arguably, I guess, the best women's team in the world right now. Same with England. England have had their professional contracts in for a while. Now the 100 taking a new twist, and again getting big crowds in on their own right, which is great. And I guess the natural progression for India was the WBL, and I'm sure after the first year, which was really something, a spectacle, I gather, and really great to play in. Listening to the players that have played in it, and I think it'll only go from strength to strength. And obviously produce those players for India in time.
Absolutely. You yourself were a left-handed batter. Smriti Mandhana is a worldwide star right now. How do you see her?
Yeah, I think she's a great player to watch.
Missed out on a century?
Yes, yeah, but I guess, that's the nature she plays.
Yeah.
She's quite an attacking batsman, but what a player. I mean, and a partner as well in Verma. I mean, the youngster. She's great players on the world stage. Not too many left-handers around these days, right? So we need more coming through in world cricket, I think. But yeah, I mean, they've got some fantastic players coming through, and like I say, it will only go from strength to strength for them.
You said you were waking up at 6 o'clock to watch the match. How do you see the rise of Deepti Sharma and Pooja Vastrakar with the ball?
Wow. Yeah, India have never really been known for their seamers. We were talking about Neetu David, who I played against many a time in years gone by. Fantastic bowler in her own right. I wish she could have played probably now as well. She'd have made a massive difference. But Deepti Sharma, good all-rounder. She's been on the circuit now for quite some time. But now she's beginning to bear fruit, which I think is good for India. And the youngster, Vastrakar, a talented seam bowler, puts it in the right area, seems to have a bit of gas. But yeah, I think that's really good for the game.
While we are standing in South Africa, you played your cricket for England. I wanted to talk about one specific player which I feel, who I feel is the best right now, Nat Sciver-Brunt. What do you have to say about her? What makes her so special with the ball, with the bat, every time she delivers for England?
Well, you just said it. She's a great all-rounder, isn't she? A couple of them around though in world cricket. I think Marizan Cup from here alone played yesterday against Bangladesh. But Nat, Sciver-Brunt, she's just she's so solid with the bat. The 100 in the World Cup that she's shown was one of the best innings, arguably in the women's game to date. And then she can do her job with the ball. So yeah, a great. Bit like a Jacques Kallis, I guess, as well. To have in your team and to have that all-rounder is massive in a team.
One final question. Australia are the pinnacle, are the benchmark of women's cricket. For South Africa, for New Zealand, for England are somewhere very close to them. But for India, South Africa, other teams, what would be your message to them, to the administrators, to the coaches, so that they can come close to the close to the Australian side? Because right now, every World Cup, every series, we see Australia. All the other teams play between themselves to face Australia in the final and lose that.
Well, I think it's just getting the structures in place, isn't it? Like I say, South Africa from the 1st of October, so very new, for the first time of the 11 contracted players. It's going to make a massive difference. Each franchise team now has its own SNC, has its own physio. Before they didn't have that, but now they've got that support staff in place, so it's going to make a difference in time. India, the WBL, obviously they're on their way now to producing these youngsters which will come through. But also the Under-19 World Cup. They've just started here now, and as a first in South Africa back in February and March this year, and I think that was a great initiative by the ICC to get that in place, because it really was wanted. And there'll be succession plans now for all teams involved in that.
Absolutely. One final question while we are gearing up for the Boxing Day test. Your prediction for this series, India versus South Africa?
Our very own Dean Elgar, part of the Titans side for a very long time, know him really well. He's going to play his penultimate test match, I guess, here at Supersport Park, so we're all be rooting for him, hopefully. So sorry guys, but I'm going to have to edge for a home victory at Supersport Park.
But thank you so much.
Won't mention Newlands, but I'll stick with Supersport Park.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time.
Pleasure.
There were some great insights, and keep watching Revsportz for more.